Hi, everybody. This is Patti Negri. Welcome to the Witching Hour. I have an amazing guest for you today, perfect for the season. I have Crystal Pomeroy and her new book, Angels and Goddesses. But before we get to goddesses, where's Patti this week? If you are listening to this in the week we first dropped, happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Now, if you have a Valentine, great. If you have chocolate, even better. If you don't have a Valentine, don't make a big deal about it. It's just another day on the calendar, or so it can be. Go be loving with your animals, with your neighbors, with your friends, with your family. But if you do have a little romance in your life, make the most of it. But again, as my dear friend Patti Stanger would say, if you don't, it's just another day on the calendar. But get yourself some chocolate anyway. This is C's chocolate. For those of you who don't live in California, you don't know this is the best chocolate in the world, and it's made right here in Southern California. So happy Valentine's Day. Don't give it to your dogs. It's bad for dogs. But if you are listening to this in this first week of Valentine's Day, I hope you saw Love, Sex, Magic with Patti Stanger and I. We talked all about love and magic and rituals and spells. But if you didn't, you could still watch it. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook Live. It's on Paraflix. So check it out. It's very fun. She's a dear friend. It's like you'll be energized if nothing else between the two of us. We don't shut up, really. So check it out. Love, Sex, Magic, Patti Negri, Patti Stanger. All about love. So if you are wanting to know where Patti is here. Patti is here. I just got back from a short trip to the Bay Area. Willow is there making noise up in the corner because that's what she does when we start recording. But if you are listening, besides today being Valentine's Day, and the chime hits, more than anything else, be your own Valentine. Take a bubble bath. Do something nice for yourself. Love you first, because then everything else gets way easier. So if you are here this week, on tomorrow, I am not teaching a class. I'm doing a seance, a Zoom seance. These are great. I promise they are just as connected as if we were sitting around my dining room table. It's very inexpensive. It's through University Magick, it's through my school. So maybe for this week of love, you want to talk to some of your deceased loved ones. I promise they're not. If you've seen me do it on Ghost Adventures or other TV shows, that's not the kind of seance it is. We only let in good and light and loving spirits that are attached to you. So talk to grandma, talk to mom, talk to the little puppy you lost in 7th grade. That's how it works. So that's Tuesday. I am not teaching Sunday because it's Vampire Week. We have events starting Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, including I'm conducting 2 weddings for Father Sebastian. We've got rituals, we've got seances, we've got parties, we've got beautiful, beautiful magic. So I hope you're joining us in Los Angeles for Vampire Week. The big ball is Sunday, but we have stuff every other night. Saturday, no matter where you are, I'm honored to be a speaker at WitchCon. Yep. Christian Days, beautiful WitchCon. It's like 3 days of amazing speakers, all day, all night. The best and the best from all over the world. Lots of different belief systems and cosmologies, all witchy and empowering and fabulous. So check out witchcon.com. And that's kind of it. Plan ahead, though. My next out-of-town trip is going to be the Bosworth Hall in the UK. I'm actually my very first trip to England, to the UK. It's called the Festival of the Unexplained. It's a great big paranormal conference. All sorts of cool people are coming, including me. And I'm doing a big gallery in this big haunted place in the UK somewhere. So I cannot wait. So join us. That is the weekend of March 10th. You can still get tickets. And I think it's pretty good getting airfare right now. It's not a bad time to travel. Have your shots, wear your masks, and come join us in across the pond. Guess what time it is? You will never guess what time it is. It is time for the Wiggly Wiggly Willow Report. Yep, the one who always yawns whenever I pick her up and double looks everywhere except for in camera. Still waiting on those little acting classes. But what I thought about today, in where I live, it's almost feels like springtime. It's getting warm. Now, I'm sorry, I'll use people when there's like 48 feet of snow. It'll come, I promise, it'll get there. But in sunny Southern California, we're having these beautiful days, and all the puppies are out, all the dogs are out. Talk about magic, candle magic, sound magic, puppy magic. It's the finest magic at all. We've talked about it before. It can soothe your soul, can give you love when you don't feel love, can cuddle like nothing else. But they have their own little social thing now. Now I am out. It's literally a puppy parade of people walking by. There's the morning hours, there's the afternoon hours, there's the evening hours. This little one has got the social schedule that I never had at any age. She has a daily 5 p.m. puppy date around the corner up on Ivorine with all her best friends. She literally has her morning boyfriend. She literally has her afternoon boyfriend. She has her weekend boyfriend who visits when he's visiting that side of the family. That's my girl. But remember, take care of these babies. They will bring you such joy. You could be having the worst day walking along, and here comes the puppies. Here comes, and okay, cat people. I'm a cat person too. Cats are magic too. But there's nothing like a dog. A dog's on a funny little leash, a dog running around in circles. We have impromptu play dates on my front lawn all the time. Besides your regular puppy date, somebody's walking by, throw them over the picket fence, and you see pure joy. Pure joy. Huh, baby? And then she sleeps like a baby, which is really good too. So anyway, she has not destroyed anything in the entire week. No rugs, no beds, no shoes. It's a good week. That's the Willow Report. Go walk your dog. And if it's really cold, put a nice sweater on and go walk your dog. The sun's a coming. That's it for the Willow Report. Okay, for magic this week, we're going to talk about sound. Plain old sound. Music to our ears, chanting, vowels, consonants. Even the regular world, even the muggles, even the mundane know how magical music is. You go to a concert, you go to your favorite band, how they make you feel. Music can invigorate you. Music can put you to sleep. Music can make you smarter for tests. Music can make you frisky. So remember that in your day-to-day life. If you're home from work and you're just tired, remember that music is magic in itself. You don't even need a candle or any herbs. My favorite kind of music, though, is sound, is voice magic, because I talk about this all the time. Our voice is magic. Every word coming out of our little face is magic in itself. The sound moves things, I guess, just like music does. The breath is our life force. The moisture in our breath is our free will. So if you're okay, So my favorite magic at all is just the voice magic. Magic is sound. That's why we chant. That's why singing in church is so invigorating. What comes out of us is our life force, is our breath, is our moisture, is our free will. So even if you don't have a specific chant or a song, which is why we even rhyme in magic, come up with vowels. Every sound we make actually has an effect on us. Vowels are force. Consonants are the form behind the force. They ignite each other. Almost the same thing you're going to hear from a speech therapist, you're going to hear from a magician. So some of the sounds to remember always are the vowels. The vowels will open up this entire crown of illumination. Think about it. Almost every sacred word is a vowel. Amen. Om. Falling in love. Ah. A roller coaster. Ah. Opens up this whole crown. So maybe if you're getting a little too chatty head, like in my 30-second exercises, you just need to do a little E-I-E-I-O with your kid or your dog, or some nice ah. There's nothing more soothing and relaxing and releasing than a great big ah sound. Now, some consonants like L's are dragon sounds. They're dragons of the land. Oh, think about that. Now, getting into Z's and S's, those are some of the serpent sounds. Those are some of the lightning strikes. You need a little energy. You need a little passion. See how magic that is? Now, again, take it into rhyming, take it into words, make it up yourself. See how it makes you feel. See how it opens up, or it clears, or it clarifies. You don't have to have something outside your body to create real magic, to change your mood, to improve how you feel, to give you energy, to relax. You got it all right here. Sing, hum. Nobody even has to hear you. It doesn't even have to be on key. Turn on the radio if you don't want to sing, but let it come out. Anyway, simple magic because it's all about sound. That's it. All right, without further ado, I am so thrilled to bring you Angels and Goddesses and the author, Crystal Pomeroy. Today, I have an amazing guest for you. We're going to get to kind of meet her together. Author, teacher, all around magical girl. I want to introduce you to Crystal Pomeroy, all the way from Mexico City. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Patti. This is so great to be on your program that seems quite cutting edge in terms of the kind of information you'd like to explore and share.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I love it because I learn something every week from people like you. So you've been teaching metaphysics, you've been teaching personal development, you radio, television, and you're based in Mexico City, right?
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been living here so far most of my adult life, and it's enriched my knowledge through direct contact with the traditions, the ancient traditions here, because we have a lot of resources from other parts of the world, but there are also a lot of sort of gaping spaces and lack of information. And in Mexico, the culture was so developed when the Spaniards came that, I mean, there was such a large population still with a lot of ancient practices or practices that had roots in really ancient. It's fascinating because it kind of fills up a lot of the spaces in terms of pagan lore, and I love that. That's beautiful. And you have a new book coming out, correct? Angels and Goddesses? Right. Yeah, it's due to be released, to be distributed on February 8th. I'm really, really excited. So tell us about it. I love how you're putting them together. I know you literally take specific angels and specific goddesses, correct? And you're connecting them. Right. Well, what happened was I had been practicing metaphysics actually since childhood. And when I began to study the archangels, the 7 archangels based on a European tradition, because there are different traditions with different numbers of archangels. And one of the main ones is the 7 that were in from a writer called Pseudo Dionysius in Europe. And this source is interesting too, because nobody's quite sure who he was. And so if as one explores the 7 different archangels that he shares, this is what ended up fascinating me most of all in the preparation of the book, which was that they have roots in ancient goddess traditions. And so we're used to thinking of angels as kind of churchy. Mm-hmm. And when we discover their roots in traditions that were before religion, it opens up a whole new area, not just of information, but also of empowerment and connection to some of the spiritual technology in these ancient traditions that aren't necessarily usually taken into account, because usually when we think about angels, we think of calling, we think of visualizing a. But there are a lot of other types of ways of connecting with them besides those, which are very good, that make the experience broader, more energetic, and even more powerful. So I'm really, really excited about this. As you can tell, I have a hard time shutting up. Yeah, no, I love that. I like enthusiastic people. I tend to be that myself. So, okay, so did you just, are you a Scorpio, Patti? I'm a Libra. Okay. Middle of the month, personable and charming. Okay. So did you just were you just led to say, okay, here's these angels of this one cosmology system, here's these basic goddesses, how do they fit together? Or did it just, I mean, did you do it by attributes? Did you do it by? Yeah, well, what happened was one of the big things that happened for me is that I had this really incredible mom. She's still incredible. She's on a subtle plane now. She's made her transition from the earthly dimension. But she introduced me to a lot of things at a very early age. And so that's why I had started with using my mind power, the power of intention, affirmation. She took me to my first metaphysical teacher, who was a metaphysical minister in San Francisco. She introduced me to pagan lore. She taught me how to do astrological charts when I was 12. And she took me to study with Joseph Campbell and other teachers when I was just a child. And I think it was partly through Joseph Campbell and also through the pagan lore that I became sort of sensitized to mythology. I mean, just as like, how should I say, something that personally attracts me, more just like something for fun or for interest, and more than having that be part of my professional activity, which has been more centered on the power of manifestation, healing, spiritual growth. And so when I started looking into these archangels and more closely, and all the details related to them and their symbols, I said, gee, like for instance, Uriel, who's the angel of financial prosperity, these symbols of his, like precious metals and his color red and his color gold and connection to the earth. This sounds a lot like Bridget and the goddess, the Celtic goddess. And this looks a lot like Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of wealth. And so I started getting more into the studies of these roots and finding these fascinating connections. And what I felt and what started opening up in my perception was that these different kinds of goddess forces that were taken into account by ancient cultures, we're talking about cultures that had a lot of ways of connecting with light beings and of using their inner powers before, on a world scale, there was a major flood. And there were different tendencies. One of them was a major flood that is basically kind of a universally accepted truth now, that there was a great flood around the planet. And there were also these tribes, these warring tribes that appeared that descended on previously peaceful communities. And these type of situations wiped out a lot of the knowledge that had been there. But we're talking about knowledge that was there before there was institutionalized religion. And so along with that knowledge was a recognition of the sacred feminine as one really important force. And this wasn't belittling actually to the sacred masculine. They were both taken into account, but the sacred feminine definitely got relegated with the appearance of institutional religions and in general, of which these religions are kind of form a part. And I say that with a great deal of respect. I think there's good in all different traditions, and I'm very much, I prefer spirituality myself than religion, but everybody has their own mix these days, and that's great. But the difference is that studying the angels, instead of making me feel like I'm somehow obliged to connect with religion, it becomes like an empowering experience in terms of my personal power, empowering women, helping people to empower themselves in direct connection with these invisible forces that are all around us. The goddesses have not gone away, even though the worship of them has, of course, decreased. They're still there, as are plant spirits, or what I call plant angels. They're still there. And all kinds of angels are still there on the invisible plane, waiting for us to turn to them. And it's like an exciting difference that they make in our spiritual practice and in awakening our powers when we do.
I love that. So you take these angels and we're getting into the sacred feminine, obviously, with everything that goes along. So is there, like you mentioned, Bridget and Lakshmi, so is there multiple goddesses fit into one angel?
Yeah, I'm sure this could be extended to, this, and my book is partly intended, to stimulate people doing their own research, but each of the 7 archangels has fascinating convergences, like Zadkiel, who is the angel of forgiveness, who is connected with these different goddess forces of transmutation. For instance, in Mexico, in ancient Mexico, Tlazolteotl was worshipped, and she was called the refuse eater. And her bark drawings have, in her bark drawings, she has characteristics that no other deities have, which are lips and chin that are black, because she's been eating refuse and eating up the earth. And she was actually a goddess of transmutation and forgiveness, and protector of midwives, and also related to healing. And she's related to autumn. And one of the colors of autumn, of course, is purple, which is Zadkiel's color, the archangel of transmutation, of forgiveness, that sweeps away what we want to get rid of. And so I had this experience with Tlazolteotl that kind of may serve as an illustration of how, when we discover the ancient roots, it changes and enriches our current practice, because we're used to thinking of angels as like you call on them to do something for you, but how exactly do they work? This in the case of Tlazolteotl, one day I was going through separation from my husband, and it was really an awful time. I had this combination of very unpleasant feelings that included grief and guilt and resentment and sort of anxiety. And I was driving by, I'd left my son off at school, and I was driving by this area where some dirt had been overturned, and there were these mounds of freshly turned dirt lying around. They were really beautiful, sort of glowing in the afternoon light in copper and brown. I didn't feel beautiful at all. I felt awful. And so I felt this, I literally felt Tlazolteotl, who I've been reading and researching about, but I'd never had or expected anything like this that happened for me, call out to me from the earth, saying, from this earth that was there that I was seeing, saying, touch me and I will pull out of you all these knots of negativity. And it was like compelling. I mean, even right now, my skin, I get goosebumps remembering it, because I felt like I just like had to stop the car, and I had to get out, and I had to go over and lay into the dirt and let this magical, loving power pull out of me this negativity, which happened really quick and really amazed me, because I've been doing inner work for many years, and so I was used to things working, but a lot of times they take time. They take a lot of time, and like forgiveness takes a lot of time, or walking myself through guilt or whatever takes a lot of time. Lots of journaling and affirmations and stuff, and I love it all. Because I adore transmutation, but this made such a difference. And it was also really fascinating, because I started understanding how the Earth Mother works in her facet of transmutation. Like she pulls the leaves from autumn trees into her with her gravity, and also with this power that she has to suck up what's obsolete and turn it into something that will make for new life and new growth. And so it's really, these ancient cultures, they considered different manifestations of nature and the cosmos as of carrying an intelligence, a sentient force that we collaborate with. And so all of a sudden I understood her black lips and her black chin, and this whole idea of her eating refuge, which sounds sort of repulsive to us but nowadays, but it sounds repulsive because we're not used to looking at this side of divine or cosmic forces that will get into the dirt with us, and they'll help us through situations that sometimes we feel that are so awful that, what angel would possibly want to help me when I'm going through this or experiencing this, and how would they do it if they did? And so that was one of the manifestations that I say as an example of these powers of transmutation that are related to feminine sacred forces, in this case of transmutation of like this pulling energy, this magnetic pulling energy that will actually help dislodge negative or difficult feelings and vibrations.
That's beautiful, because I work very elemental, and that sounds like, my gosh, going to the earth to elemental sounds like early compost to me.
It is. It's really like compost. Yeah.
That is gorgeous. So in your book, I was reading you have things like invocations and visualizations and rituals for people to do. So within working with these goddess angels.
Yeah. And so the rituals are really like, if we do them with our attention, mindfully connected, we're opening quantum spaces. And I really like discovering the links that science makes between our different inner powers and what we're manifesting and the energies around us. And so like quantum physics has proved unequivocally that we've got an influence we're exerting all the time over whatever we observe. And so if we do a ritual or we invoke a deity or we visualize anything, we're actually opening a quantum space that will allow these forces to converge in new ways. And what's the date of transmission of this program? Because we've got some pretty fascinating times opening up right now with Imbolc about to happen.
A couple of weeks, 3 weeks is my best guess. Rob can chime in on that.
Okay, well, these are dates of renovation. I mean, Imbolc is a time of renovation. And so it's a time in which, from an astronomical viewpoint, we've got the sun climbing in the sky from its point at winter solstice, which is its lowest point in the sky, to its halfway point to the zenith, which is going to be at spring equinox. And then at the beginning of February, we get this quarter point between those two. And at this time, the Celts would make festivities for Bridget, lighting bonfires in their pastures as like a way of connecting with the sunlight. And they had this beautiful metaphor of the goddess who was now re-engaging with the sun god Lugh, getting her feet were awakening, were like sunlight made substance that was awakening the seeds that were lying in the earth. And this has a fascinating convergence with Mayan teachings, which are also wonderful in terms of spiritual technology, that the Mayans literally believed that the sun at Imbolc is able to touch the kernel of life lying in the seeds, lying dormant in the seeds, and awaken it, even though it's not actually touching the seeds. It actually penetrates in the ground in a certain way that awakens this new life. And they had a metaphor that went with that, that is related to the goddess who's given birth at winter solstice to the newborn sun, and then 40 days have gone by, and those 40 days are called the quarantine, the 40 days in which the mother who's just given birth is now feeling good enough, she's taken good care of herself enough that she can go back to public life, and including her relationship, her intimacy with her partner, and all of her activity. And Bridget, who's both a metal worker, a metalsmith, and she's also a goddess of agriculture, and she's a poetess, and she's a healer, has all these different aptitudes like women do nowadays too, got awakened to her new cycle. And so there's this energy of renewal that's very exciting, that also fits with the sign Aquarius that will be coming up, and is because the sun is now in Aquarius, which is a sign of awakening. And so it's about awakening to our new phase, what we want to do. And we can, for instance, light tea candles, a series of tea candles, and carry them around our space, putting one in each room as we imagine angels floating around also doing this, carrying, or if you prefer, manifestations of the goddess carrying these tea lights and putting them in different places as we do this, carrying also their own little flame and calling on the forces of renewal as we do that. And so that's one thing that could be done. Another February type of ritual is to put ourselves under a rain of flowers. Flowers are absolutely magical. And there are flower spirits on the subtle plane. I call them flower angels that get involved with our work. And flowers were very close to these goddesses. If, for instance, there's a manifestation of Tara, who's red. And she's a goddess of awakening, a goddess of bliss. And one of her specialties is transmuting toxic types of love connection that today we would call codependence or obsession. We can't get somebody off of our mind, or the way that we're living out our sensuality is not very high vibration, and we still want that joy, we want that connection, we want that passion, but we want it to be on a higher level of expression. And she has these red lotuses. Red Tara has these red lotuses. They're these tiny flowers that she shoots from a bow that's actually the predecessor of Cupid's bow and arrow. Instead of arrows, she shoots these little lotus flowers. And the archangel Chamuel, known as Chamuel, who's connected with Tara, has red and pink roses as his flowers. And so we can do something really lovely but simple, like in a relaxed position, call on the goddesses and angels of love and ask them to pour a rain of flowers over us, and feel these tiny red lotuses and pink roses flowing over us. And as I said in a recent article for Llewellyn, instead of 50 shades of gray, 50 shades of pink and red, and feel this rain transmuting our love energy as we ask for these deities of happy passion to lift us to a higher and a healthier expression of our love connections. So that's another February type of ritual that's really simple to do. And it doesn't require having physical flowers. I mean, it's great if you can have flowers. I love flowers, but you don't need to go out and pick and cut flowers in order to connect with the floral energy. The flowers themselves actually will also respond to being called on, and they'll participate in our healing or manifestation of whatever it is that we happen to be focused on.
Perfect, and perfect for Valentine's Day. Isn't that funny? So excuse, there's a little barking dog in the background. I'm going in and out of mute. So in your book, when people are learning about and connecting these goddesses and these angels, do you give them exercises for certain things that they are looking for, like the love and renewal and things like that?
Oh, yes, of course. And what I think is great is that they improve the results of one's inner work, because the power within us is so incredible. And when we work on ourselves, like say to heal our self-esteem, it is, the energy changes so much. I mean, we feel so much better. It's so empowering. And yet sometimes it can seem, the actual work itself can seem like a drudge, or we're not sure if we're doing it right, or our mind wanders. And so when we call upon these invisible forces to participate, they make a really big difference in the results we have. And that's one of the things I love about angels and goddesses. So visualizing them, invoking them, using affirmations connected with them. Before I got into angels more deeply, which is actually kind of like, for me, a fairly recent phase, because like I said, I've been doing this mental science since childhood, basically. I had already been doing healing, say, like with transmuting beliefs to do healing, which is a big area of my work too. Today, in fact, I'm a fairly accomplished healer. For instance, just a couple of days ago, this woman from another state in Mexico who had, I don't know what this is called in English, but it's a thing in the intestines where people get these little like bags that are stuck on the side of the intestines, and food goes into them and it starts making infection, and it's supposedly incurable. So she'd had this since 2019. And she had 2 doctors say she was going to have to get an operation in her intestine to have a piece of it removed. There was no other solution. I gave her 2 healings, and she went to see another doctor, and she took her analysis that had the original diagnosis. And the doctor said, okay, I'm looking at your analysis that's from October, but touching your stomach now, you don't have anything. I mean, you don't have this anymore. Whatever it was that you had, it's gone. And completely. And this is just one example. They flow all the time. I have a weekly empowerment group that, and I'm not just saying this as an ad, I'm saying this really because we have this power within. I've taught other people also to use their minds in this way, and we can all do it. It's a universal part of our equipment. Besides our physical body, we have this light body and these energy circuits that, when we activate them, work to literally transmute physical conditions around us. And so I had already been working in this direction when I started getting into the angels. And so to me, I didn't see the angels as, hey, I want somebody to come in with their little magical wand and fix things. I saw them more as collaborators in this work on oneself, that they do make a difference in outer conditions. Like, for instance, if you write to an angel, if you're having a really challenging situation and you write a letter to an angel and you combine that letter, you write affirmations in the letter, affirmations that you really feel, which is something that I took a while to learn, because my first formal metaphysical teacher when I was 15 told me, write 100 positive affirmations a day. Write these down. You really need to change your vibration. And she was a medium, and she must have seen that I was quite negative. And she said, do this, every day. And so I did this, Patti. I did it for a year. And I saw absolutely no change in my feelings and my circumstances. And so, one of the things that I have been learning in this lifetime, which is fascinating because we just keep learning and learning and learning. And there's so much to learn these days, and so much wonderful stuff. And so one of the things that I learned and that I enjoy teaching others is that you got to feel what you're affirming. It has to be something you really feel. Otherwise, there's no point in it. So if you don't feel an affirmation, dump it, check it, and find another one. Maybe later you'll feel that one, which is something that's happened to me sometimes. And so I had come to a point of working with affirmations, then adding the angels in these letters, where one makes the request and also writes repeatedly to create like a pattern that becomes fixed on the subtle plane. An affirmation that you can really feel it will make a huge difference. It's like they intervene miraculously when we combine our body with the written word, our nervous system, what we feel, our attention, our mindfulness, and our emotions, and the request to the angels. It's quite a powerful combination that makes an enormous difference, and can make for major breakthroughs in situations that seem impossible.
I agree wholeheartedly, especially about the healing. I love that you are a healer. I wholeheartedly believe in full everything healing. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be here myself. And I like, and all the philosophies you're putting together are just, they're science meets spirituality facts, which is my kind of thing too, as well.
That's great.
I have so many questions. I'm just going to have you come back. If you don't.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Especially when you get the book. But before we do, tell us again where people can find you. If you have any events that you're doing, your websites, your social media, and all that. And when again your book will be out.
Yeah, great. Well, by the time I guess people hear this, it probably is out already. My book is called Angels and Goddesses. And it was carefully prepared by me and lots of light beings and Llewellyn, who puts a lot of work into doing a good finished product. And that will be out on February 8th. And everything, you can just look for my name, like my website, crystalpomeroy.com. I'm on Facebook, Crystal Pomeroy, author and healer. Instagram, Crystal Clear Always. I'm always putting stuff up there. On my website, you can find an easy way to contact me, and we'll get your emails and keep you abreast of what we have going on, of our activities. We have all kinds of different activities. Some are dirt cheap, and others are a little bit more pricey for more lengthy and more personal attention. But there's basically something for everyone. And in my book, you will find a lot of ways, if whatever your spiritual practice is, whether you like meditation, positive prayer, affirmations, rituals, and so forth, you'll find ways of enriching them and of applying ancient spiritual technology to your current spiritual practice that will lift your vibration and give you much greater results. I say that as a personal guarantee because it makes a big difference when we bring the light beings in.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. It's such a big honor to be on your program, Patti.
Yes,
this is so great.
I am so excited. Everybody, Angels and Goddesses, Crystal Pomeroy. Once the book comes out, we're going to have her back, but check it out. Everybody needs a little angel and goddess in their life. So thank you again, Crystal. Thank you for bringing your magic to the witching hour.
Thank you for being an angel goddess representative and witch representative. That's a topic I touched on in the book too, witches and how they relate to goddesses.
Oh, perfect. Yay. 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 I can't wait to read it. I really can't wait to read it.
Thank you. That's very sweet. So great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Check her out, everybody. Angels and Goddesses, Crystal Pomeroy.